Check. 1, 2.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. Good to see you all out. We are going to be starting shortly, but before we get started with the actual program, breakfast is ready. Please help yourself. We know that the coffee is not as hot as some of you like it, but we're working on that. The machine is doing its thing, so we apologize that it's not that hot. But go ahead and please get breakfast because we're going to get started as closely as we can to 9. Probably about 9:03 we're going to get started. So please help yourself. Thank you.
Grainger knows that if you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machine
because I think we all recognize that there are a tremendous number of great opportunities to build housing in great quality communities within DeKalb County. For affordable and attainable housing to be in.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are going to be starting shortly. Know that some are still getting food to eat. It's here.
This is our newest one. Yeah, really nice. Get a chance. The pool was amazing.
I haven't even had a chance to walk around. I'll probably do it after.
Yeah, do that. That was man. That was a big deal.
Oh, I bet. They out there swimming it up too.
Yeah. The reality situation. I'm just gonna talk about it right here. White communities in the north.
All right, we're going to get started in. DCTV will be counting us in. Good morning and happy Saturday. Thank you all for coming out to Commissioner Chakira Johnson's quarterly breakfast meeting. This is her first meeting for the year 2026. Many of you know that we had it scheduled for January, but then we had that ice storm, so we had to reschedule it for today. So again, thank you all for being out here this morning. We've got a pretty hefty agenda this morning. We've got our new tax commissioner, Ms. Nicole Golden, that will be speaking with us. Mr. Andre Thomas, the director of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. We also have Carolina Ramos from MARTA, who's with Government and Community Affairs. She's the manager there, and she's actually outside, but when it's time for her to speak, she will. And as always, we have department representation here, and we will be introducing those folks when we get to Q&A. All right? Just a couple of housekeeping things that I want to let everybody know about. The restrooms are outside of the doors here to the left. When you go out, they're on the left. Also, I want to thank East Central DeKalb Community and Senior Center for their hospitality. They always are very cooperative with us. They get the room set up. They get things going. So I just want to thank everyone who is involved in that. If they could wave their hands, all of my East Central DeKalb Community and Senior Center reps. All right. I probably don't need to say this because some of you have already heard this before, but I feel extremely fortunate as a resident of District 4. to have a commissioner like Commissioner Chakira Johnson, who represents us. I am especially pleased with the direction that she has taken in her first year. So I told her, I don't know how long ago, she can't say she's new anymore because that's over. I probably told her that in the first 4 weeks anyway of last year, like, that's over. You're not new anymore. So she's finished up her first year. She will be talking with you and providing you with an update of all that she's been working on and what her focuses will be for 2026. We are going to just keep running it. We're going to keep putting our head down, the team, in terms of what is of interest to you. We can't, well, she'll say this, but I'll say it first. Can't meet everybody's interest, right? Because if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. But I've given you all surveys this morning, and if you've not gotten a survey, let us know, because Commissioner, she does want to hear from you. If you do not know how to reach us, please be in touch with myself or Carrie. At the end of her presentation, she will have her email address, phone number. Give us a call, send us an email, let us know what's on your mind. We do like nice phone calls, too. We like the phone calls where, you know, if we got the trash folks to come out, the sanitation crew to come out and get your sanitation, we like knowing that that happened. We like knowing that that pothole that you called us about got filled. And obviously, we want to know about what the needs are so that we can work with our departments to address those concerns. I also want to introduce Carrie Cordes, our communications specialist. Say hi to Carrie. So if you are not receiving our communications by way of our email distribution, please make sure that we have your email address. Carrie can collect that today. We'll have something where you can give it to us. That's how you stay in touch with us and know what we are putting out in terms of information. Commissioner not only gives you information about what's happening in District 4, but countywide. All right? So we can't communicate with you if we don't have a way to do that. So please make sure that you are signed up. Also, we added to our team a social media staffer coordinator. We're working on that name title, and that would be Hayden, who is working with us, and he was an intern with our district last year, and we kept him. So if you're seeing posts on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, most likely a lot of that is coming from Hayden. Okay? All right. So Commissioner, you ready? All right. Here we are. Commissioner Chakira Johnson, your District 4 Commissioner. She was also unanimously elected this year as the presiding officer for the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, very excited to be presiding officer this year. Wasn't quite certain everything that was entailed in that position. It's been added work, but it's been a privilege to be able to try and lead and guide my fellow commissioners. One of my main focuses as presiding officer is to make our meetings more efficient. I think if you're coming to the meetings or you're paying attention to the meetings, we get a little long-winded, trying to be politically correct. So we're trying to just really streamline our meetings so that we're doing the work our residents effectively and efficiently. And it's also affording opportunity to be out and about in ways that I didn't realize. Yesterday I was able to give remarks at the 42nd annual MLK event and meet Ambassador Young, who I had never had an opportunity to meet before. So it's work, but it's a lot of fun added to it as well. So just honored to be presiding officer this year. And it also means that I'm now only on 2 committees. Last year I was on 3 committees. I was on ERPS, FAB, and PWI. ERPS is Employee Relations and Public Safety. So I'm rolling off of that committee. Our deputy presiding officer is Dr. Ladina Bolton. She is chair of that committee. And for us to collaborate better as presiding officer and deputy presiding officer and not violate any open meetings acts, we couldn't be on the same committee together. So I rolled off of that one, but I am staying on finance, audit, and budget, and public works and infrastructure. And again, our deputy presiding officer is our Super District 7 commissioner. I think probably a lot of us in this room are also in Super District 7. And then I think we have a historic moment in DeKalb County where the top 3 leaders of the governing authority are Black women. So with Madam CEO, myself as presiding officer, and then Dr. Bolton as deputy presiding officer, it is a historic moment in DeKalb. Thank you. Thank you. So we're really excited and planning to bring a lot of synergy and just continue to do progress and growth for DeKalb County. So if you're not aware of what in District 4, where is District 4, what all is included in District 4, we're really central DeKalb. So we include cities of Avondale Estates, Clarkston, unincorporated Lithonia, Pine Lake, City of Stone Mountain, unincorporated Snellville, and kind of the lower part of Tucker, and then everything else in between. So if you live anywhere in that area, you are a District 4 resident, and we're happy to be your commissioner. So our focus areas, if you've been coming to these meetings, you've seen this a lot, but we're staying focused on these areas this year as well. Infrastructure being top of mind. As many of you know, I'm a civil engineer by trade, a Georgia Tech grad, so I couldn't come into this position and not focus on infrastructure, but also because, as we are all aware, one of our first actions last year was to increase the water rates to 10 by 10 so that we could actually fund the improvements to our water and sewer system in a way that we had not done in 40, 50 years. We have failing systems that had to have money, so we're really pushing on that. We're making really good progress on that. I think we had about $425 million in contracts awarded last year, and about half of that money was spent since February 2025. So we are pushing to get those projects out the door and get the infrastructure fixed. Homelessness and housing is another key focus area, not just for myself, but the Board of Commissioners and the CEO. On Thursday of this week, we actually passed the FY 2026 budget. Really excited to get that out the way. We have to do that by our charter by March 1st, so we were able to get that done. The budget the CEO presented was, we're calling it a budget that cares, a budget with a heart. So we're still providing our basic services, but we're working to expand into some really robust housing initiatives, which will include day centers for homeless, but also rehab programs for those who need help to rehab the houses that they already live in, trying to find ways to increase our stock of affordable or workforce housing. So we're taking a multifaceted approach. Madam CEO brought in Dr. Ferguson, who is our housing officer, our first housing officer in DeKalb County, and he's providing us with a really robust plan that really transform what housing means in DeKalb County. One of the stats I heard this past weekend that we were in DC at a legislative conference is majority of our houses, I think about 70% of our houses were built before 1990. And we've only increased about 11% of housings in that time. So a lot of our housing is aging and really needs a lot of work, but we also need to get some new stock in there too. So we really need to be focusing on that. Another focus area is youth development. And we really focused on youth development through our funding appropriations out of the District 4 office last year. Some of that funding included money to 100 Black men for their youth programs, Colin Wall for youth, and art, and also veterans programs. So when we look at our focus areas and the money that we have that we can appropriate, we're trying to put our money where those focus areas are. And the survey that Alicia mentioned, we're wanting to get input from you guys on what do you guys want to see as our focus areas as far as appropriation goes. So please fill that survey out for us. And then Memorial Drive revitalization, as you know, my predecessor, Commissioner C. Bradshaw, a few years ago, has done a master plan on how to revitalize Memorial Drive. It had a lot of really good community input, so we're not reinventing the wheel. We're pushing to get those projects completed. We're making some headway on the gateway signages and monuments, but we're working with GDOT, and working with GDOT can be a little slow. So we're still pushing forward on those. And we did finally get funding out the door to do a feasibility study to see if we should have a community improvement district or business improvement district along Memorial Drive. So the DeKalb Chamber of Commerce is leading that charge for us. It took a minute to get the money out of the county, but they got the money now. So that study will help inform us on other ways that we can grow and partner with the businesses along Memorial Drive. And then another focus area is supporting our new Americans or immigrant communities or refugee communities. That has been a focus area for us since the beginning of 2025, and it remains one. As we all know, Clarkston is a part of our community, which is the most diverse square mile in the country. So we really want to make sure that we're incorporating everybody, that it truly is one DeKalb County, and we're all in this together. And I think that's representative. We have a very diverse crowd here today. This is what District 4 looks like. We are very diverse, and we embrace that and lean into that. So here again are some of the funding allocations we made in 2025. Stone Mountain Trail, DeKalb beautification, Mosaic Health Center, which is in Clarkston. So Mosaic Health Center is a health center in Clarkston that if you do not have health insurance that you can go to and get quality care. And I will also note in the 2026 budget that we just passed, we allotted, I believe, $1.5 million to them to really help stand them up. And we also allotted, I think, $1.3 million to Chakira. And the reason we chose to focus on Mosaic Health and Chakira in our communities, we're well aware of the Affordable Care Act subsidies going away and what that impact can mean to our residents. So we're trying to find ways to help fill that gap. So Chakira is going to be standing up some mobile clinics, and then Mosaic Health, again, that's an existing, both of those are existing entities, but Mosaic Health, if you do not have health insurance, they see anybody. You don't have to just live in Clarkston. They do robust, full service to the community. We also gave money for youth violence prevention, to community development. Community development was critical for me because our community development department is a department that goes out and deals with our homeless population. And prior to that $80,000, almost 100% of their funding was coming from federal grants. We were finally able to get a mere $80,000 out of the general fund directly to them. And we're pushing to increase that because when we give money out of the general fund, it comes with a lot less stipulations, and we can make sure they have wraparound services and just really guide what we know our residents need from that department. So I was really excited. I asked for more, but at least I got something out of that. We also contributed to the Sheriff's Boys to Men and Girls to Pearls program, a home for everyone in DeKalb that deals with homelessness, Scottsdale Learning Center, as well as Colombo Art Program. If you're not aware, we do have a podcast. We just recorded one this past Wednesday. It'll go out in the next couple weeks. We had our new Director of Public Safety, Director Fulham. There was a really good conversation and interview. He was just promoted from Fire Chief to Director. He took his new role at the beginning of this year. So we had a really good conversation with him. And I think we have a clip of Dr. Ferguson. So this is our previous one.
For affordable and attainable housing to be incorporated, to the greatest extent in those projects. Because I think we all recognize that there are a tremendous number of great opportunities to build housing in great quality communities within DeKalb County. We just need to be bolder and stronger around the ask to developers to making sure that they're providing a good, strong, equitable opportunity for all of DeKalb County's residents, not just those with higher incomes, to be in those same places.
So again, that's Dr. Ferguson, Dr. Alan Ferguson, our Chief Housing Officer. We had a really good conversation with him. That was our last podcast. So that is up on YouTube if you'd like to see the full interview. If you haven't checked out our website, please check that out as well. It's a good way to stay in touch. You can also send us messages through there. We get those. We react to them. Carrie manages a lot of that for us and pushes them to us for us to reach out and follow up on. And then I did also want to touch on the furniture here at East Central DeKalb. The new director, whose name just escaped me again, Chris Bass, the new Parks and Rec director, knew I was having this meeting here in this space today, so he pulled me aside on Thursday so that I would have an update. The furniture that's missing from out front from when we had the flooding in July of last year is ordered, is through procurement, but is still 6 to 8 weeks out. We do apologize. We thought in our office that it had been taken care of and that the order had been placed. We do not know what happened, but we know it's been ordered and through procurement, and we're closer to actually having that there. And I knew I'd get questions on that today. So I wanted to make sure I touched base on that as well. So other items, we talked about the budget. That was a really, really big, heavy lift for us this early in the year. But we also just came back from DC. So if I sound a little tired, because we were in DC last weekend from Friday to Tuesday for the NACO Legislative Conference. If you're wondering, well, why should we send our county commissioners to DC? And every county commissioner and the Madam CEO was in DC. We also take the opportunity to meet with our federal lobbyists, but also meet with our federal legislative delegation. So we had a meeting with Congressman Hank Johnson's office. Well, Congressman Hank Johnson was in the meeting, and Eric Hubbard from his office is here in the back as well. So good to see you. We also met with Congresswoman Nikema Williams. We met with THUD. We met with Department of Transportation. We also had a little bit of FaceTime with Senators Ossoff and Warnock. They held like a joint meeting for everyone from Georgia to hear from them. So it's a really good opportunity to have some one-on-one time with our legislators, let them know what's happening in DeKalb County, let them know what our initiatives are, but also we meet with some of our federal departments so we know what their programs are and how we can apply for funding. So we do get about over $400 million in federal funding for DeKalb County. So it's really critical for us to keep those relationships going, because the funding that we get from the federal government they go to critical programs and also critical jobs that without the funding, we would not be able to provide those services here in DeKalb County. I think that is most of our talking points. You will still see us pushing our goals for 2026. We do want to hear from everybody on that survey. Madam CEO mentioned that we will be doing a joint board retreat soon. We don't have the date on that yet, but there's a lot of good synergy and collaboration happening with the Board of Commissioners, administration, and the CEO's office. So I think this is just a really good, exciting time for DeKalb County right now. And again, if you would like to get involved, we do have available board opportunities. I think we have one more position on community council. I really need to fill my PDK airport advisory. There's an arts council starting. There's a women's council starting. We need to add that. Oh, it is on there. Thank you. They're so good. They know what I'm thinking before, and just go ahead and do it. I have an amazing team. So if you guys have any interest in joining any of these boards, please reach out to us. It's really critical. We try to be really strategic on who we're putting on these boards so to make sure we're getting a diverse segment of our community having that input. So again, if you're interested in any of these, please reach out. And then again, this is our District 4 team. I could not do any of this without my team. They are amazing, and I thank them every day. Maybe not as much as I should, but I do make sure we thank them. And I got to note, too, that we did not plan to come looking alike today. We all showed up individually in the same shirts. So that's how connected we are. Again, thank you so much, and there's other ways for you to connect with us. Thank you, everybody. So next we have our brand new DeKalb County Tax Commissioner, Ms. Nicole M. Golden, Esquire, who was in the tax office for a while. So she's new to the title, but not new to the department, and we're very happy to hear from her. So Ms. Golden.
Good morning. I think I was able to make it around the room to speak and say hello to most of you and try to introduce myself. I want to thank our commissioner for having me here this morning and say just quickly a few words about her so far that I've learned. She's amazing. What speaks to me is her very first few months in office last year. She went around to all the departments and offices and introduced herself, but more so, sat down and spent a couple hours with us, touring our office and learning about what we do. Why that speaks to me is because people, a lot of folks come in and, I know they have a lot to do, and she had a lot to do, but it's important to learn what it is that each office does so that when you're making huge decisions, or you're informed about what that office does, what services that office provides. And she did that. And not everyone does that. So I'm so thankful and so grateful for you. And I know that you make decisions that are informed. And I couldn't be more proud as a DeKalb County resident to have you as our presiding officer. So thank you, Commissioner Johnson. I appreciate you. Like she mentioned, I have been in the tax commissioner's office for about 9 years as chief deputy tax commissioner. Prior to that, in my former life, I like to say, I was a prosecutor. I worked in the DeKalb solicitor's office and the DA's office. So I've actually been a DeKalb County service provider and representative for a little over 22 years. I came right out of law school at Emory and got to work as a baby lawyer. And I've been in DeKalb the entire time I've been in Georgia. So that's over 25 years now. And I love it here and I'm not going anywhere. And I actively recruit people to DeKalb as much as I can. So I'm more than excited to be here. I was here when this center first opened. There's nothing like a senior center to keep the residents informed, educated, fed, and all the things. You may see our former tax commissioner here soon, Irvin Johnson. He is a resident of Stone Mountain. He lives in this area. And nothing is ailing Mr. Johnson. He just decided after 25 years he was ready to retire after his third career. And as soon as I can get him in town, because he has been traveling ever since he retired, y'all will probably see him in your senior center. So, and maybe I can actually do something to recognize him, throw him a retirement party. We haven't done any of that because he's been traveling, seeing his kids and grandkids and all those great things. So, all right, now let's get to the real reason I'm here. So everybody wants to know, or everybody thinks that my main role, and it is to collect taxes. Yes, that's my job. But I'm not here today to talk about that. I'm here to talk about homestead exemptions, which are savings, ways for you to pay less taxes. Okay, that's an easier topic to talk about, so that's what I'm going to do this morning. All right. What is a homestead exemption? For those, some of this may be a little basic because some of you may already know, but my goal is to make you absolute experts by the time you leave here. A homestead exemption provides significant savings towards your property taxes. They're available to individuals that own and reside at a property within the county. So if you rent property in the county, you cannot get a homestead exemption on that property. You have to actually live there. I get those questions a lot. I wish I could say that we had something for rental properties. We do not. So this is, and by the way, I'm going to say this in a few slides, but I need to say this early. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, okay? So if you dislike anything I'm about to say, please, I'm happy to hear them. I'm happy to to hear what you have to say. And I do make note of it because just like you can talk to your county commissioners and your state legislators, I have them too. I'm a DeKalb County resident too. So if I hear your questions, your complaint, your issues and concerns, it's my responsibility to also communicate that to them. So you can do that yourself. I take mental note of those too. So I appreciate the concerns and the questions that you have. I absolutely do. Even though I can't do much about them, I'm still going to try, okay? But in addition to a basic homestead exemption, and you'll hear me say this, a basic homestead exemption, anybody can get. As long as you live in the home and you're a DeKalb County resident. I'm going to tell you a couple other things that we look at, but anyone can get that. And then I'm going to talk about special exemptions for special people, which includes everybody in this room, because if you are 62 and older, you're special. And you get to get a special exemption called a senior exemption. We also have exemptions for disabled adults as well as veterans. So I'll be talking about those in a minute. Okay. Some of the qualifications that are required for you to qualify for homestead exemptions, that's what I just mentioned. They're set by local and state law. We have about 10 different exemptions, okay, in DeKalb. The other thing to note is I am going to be talking about what's available to you in DeKalb, whether it be local, city, or state exemptions. Now, you could go to another county and they could possibly offer completely different exemptions. The only ones that are available the same for everyone are statewide exemptions. But I get a lot of questions, well, in Cobb or in Clayton or in Fulton or Gwinnett, well, their rules are different, okay? So I will be talking about what's available just in DeKalb for obvious reasons. But I do want to make you note that there are different, depending on the county you go to. Now, we are responsible for administering the application process. That can also vary in other counties. For instance, in Fulton County, the tax assessor's office handles exemption applications. In DeKalb, we handle it. It's more work. We love it. We love providing the service, and we like we like to know it's handled the right way and the way we want it handled. We're not good delegators. We like doing everything ourselves. So we handle it in DeKalb. Even though we have probably the best assessor in the state of Georgia, we still like to handle it ourselves. And we also like the process, the separation, so that if we deny you an application for an exemption, you can go to the assessor's office and appeal, because that's how appeals kind of should be handled. And that's my old lawyer experience kicking in. The same office where you get the application should not be the office that handles the appeal, in my position. So that's the other reason we offer it. And so I mentioned that next. If you apply in my office and we say no, you can appeal that and go to the tax assessor's office. All right. Homestead exemption rules. I already mentioned you must own and occupy your property. Here's the other kicker. January 1st, by law, is the barometer, the metric for everything. So I mentioned to a couple of ladies in the back that 62 is the age in which you qualify for a senior exemption, for instance. Well, you have to be 62 by January 1st. And so the year you turn 62, you will probably not be able to apply for the exemption, or qualify, I should say. You can always apply, but you won't qualify until the following year, okay? And I'll talk about the difference between application and qualifying in just a second. Again, you must be a primary residence of the home, or your primary residence must be the home that you apply for. Property can't be a rental. Your vehicles must also be registered at that location. And so if you come to our office, you're applying for a homestead exemption or seniors, basic, whatever, on a home, but your vehicles are registered at another place, guess what? We handle vehicle registrations as well. So you have a one-stop shop. You can go right around the corner of our building and get your vehicles transferred to that property. You could also do a lot of this stuff online, by the way. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've made that available for you in the past few years. But And like I said, you can't have more than one homestead. So you can't have a homestead in the state of Georgia and then another homestead in Texas because you own property there, or a homestead in DeKalb, but then you have a homestead also in Fulton. You can't have both. You can only have one because the way the law looks at it is you can only live in one place. Now, some of you have homes different places and you go there and here in the summer, there in the winter and that sort of thing, but you have to pick. That's the rules. You have to pick one place, okay? And just so you know, I hate to sound like the bad guy, but I like to be direct and honest. We audit every year. So we look over all the homestead exemptions to make sure you actually still deserve them every year. So if we see that you're registered for a homestead exemption elsewhere, we will send you a letter and let you know we need you to pick. You either have to take it off that other place or take it off here. We give you the option and give you, 30 to 60 days to respond before we take action, okay? All right. I mentioned that you can apply online. You can come in our office and apply. You can apply by mail. We also have drop boxes. And I'm really going to push our drop boxes. Please tell me when I run over time. Push our drop boxes because the mail has been a little iffy lately, if you all didn't know. I absolutely hate it because my grandfather, I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Let me say that. Mr. Joel in the house I got my homeboy here. He's also from Lake Charles. There he is. My grandfather was the first black postal carrier in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm very proud of that fact. So it really breaks my heart. Thank y'all. It really breaks my heart to see what's happening to the mail lately. Hopefully they're getting better. So I will in no way, shape, or form disparage the U.S. Postal Service, but I do want to let you know that we have seen a lot of problems with them. It's getting better. But I say all that to also push our drop boxes. We have bright orange drop boxes at all 3 of our locations that are very secure, and we check them several times a day. So if you don't want to come in the office, but you don't want to apply online, we have this drop box that's open 24 hours. You can literally drive up and just stick your application in there if you wish to. So I want to push those. We also take payments there, almost any kind of correspondence. Just don't put cash in the box. That's the only thing we ask. Or you can come in person. You can just walk in the door. You could also make an appointment. Some folks like an appointment. I love appointments. I live by appointments. And so I can make sure when I walk through the door, I'm seen right away. You can do that online. You can call and make an appointment. Or like I said, you can always walk in. If you're going to apply online, this is what it looks like. So I'm obviously not going to go through all that. But as I mentioned, you guys are special. So there's a special application for you at the bottom, a special place for you to apply if you're a senior or a disabled veteran wanting to apply for an exemption. All right. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. The deadline, April 1st every year for you to apply for an exemption. Now, the law changed last year that allowed for a 45-day window after you get your assessment notice. Let me say this. Although the assessor's office is my absolute partner in all of this because they determine the values. Without them determining the value of your property, I can't send bills. But they send a notice at the end of May, early June called your assessment notice. That is very, very, very important. A lot of people ignore their assessment notices, okay? Please don't. Because when the bills come out in August, if you feel as if your bill is too high, it's too late to do anything about it by the time the bill comes out, okay? If you would like to see a reduction in your property taxes, there's 2 things you can do. The first is apply for the exemptions that I'm talking about this morning in my office. The second is to ask or appeal your value. So when that assessment notice comes out at the end of May, early June, please read it. If you get nothing else from this presentation, read your mail that comes from us. And from us or from the assessor's office. Calvin Hicks is our chief assessor. Read your assessment. It will tell you what your value will be for 2026. If you look at that and you say, there's no way my home was worth $250,000 last year and now it's worth $500,000. Hopefully that won't happen. But if it does, the letter will explain on the front and the back what you need to do. You have the opportunity to appeal. There is a deadline to appeal. It's typically the middle of July. Okay? So if you disagree with the value, appeal, and then you'll have a hearing later on where you go and you argue your case. Okay? So I say all that to say it's because the law changed last year to reopen the exemption application period during that 45 days of appeal. So if you forget to apply for your exemption by April 1, you can come back. Is that confusing? It is. It's confusing to us. But there's also some some legislation that's going around this year to just keep the application open until the end of the appeal period. So keep it from January 1st to July 15th or something like that. We'll see what happens. But right now, the law allows for the window to close April 1st and then to open again like June 1st and then close again July 15th. Either way, what I would do is come before April 1st. Now, for those of you, which is probably all of us, that don't like lines, who likes to wait in lines? Anybody? No, I don't think so. Oh, you do in the back. Okay, Tommy. Okay, Tommy. I'll keep that in mind. Don't come March 30th. Don't come March 29th. Don't come April 1st. You will stand in a line. And not because my team isn't awesome, because they are. Hey, my team. But it's because, of our last minute friends. And so you will be in line. Come now. No, it's no one's in there. It's us hanging out, waiting for you guys to come on in. So please come now if you wish to apply for an exemption. But definitely do it, I would suggest, by April 1st. Applications received after the July 15th deadline, we still take them. We take applications year round, but they will be applied to the following year. If you want to receive some type of savings or potentially receive it in this calendar year, you need to come before April 1. Now, the only folks that get to apply year round are disabled veterans, okay? And that's law. Well, we know they deserve that, right? Absolutely. All right. What do you need to bring when you come and see me? Your driver's license or an ID. It has to have that address that you're applying for on your driver's license. You'd be surprised how many people come in my office to process their motor vehicle tags or property tax, and it says like Fulton County or Gwinnett. And we have to tell them, we only help DeKalb County residents because we only help the best. And sometimes they'll say, well, I live in DeKalb. Okay, well, you got to get that driver's license changed, okay, because that's one of the requirements. So bring your driver's license. That's all you need if you're applying for a basic exemption, but most of you probably have a basic. So moving on to the specials, thank you. I will talk y'all all day long. I'm a lawyer. The other thing we need, if you want to qualify for a senior exemption, which we want everybody to at least apply for, please, please, please apply for a senior exemption. I don't care how much money you make or don't make. Please apply because you never know. We have 10 different exemptions. We're going to give you the best exemption we have. We take your records, we type them in the system, and then the system shoots out the best exemption you can have. What do we need for you to do that? Like I said, your driver's license, and we need your federal and state income tax returns. Why both? Because again, we're trying to qualify you for the best thing we have out there. Of those 10 exemptions, some look at your state income tax returns, some require your federal, and some take gross, some take net. And there's different income requirements for each of the 9 seniors. Of the 10, the first is the basic, the other 9 are senior or disabled veterans. So we need that. Bring in both your returns. Well, Nicole, I haven't filed for 2025 yet. It's okay. I haven't either. And so bring in your 2024s, and then we'll look at that. If you have your 2025s, bring those in. We won't take 23, but we will take 24 or 25. So bring those in. Bring the first few pages, 3 or 4 pages, and we'll take a look at that. And if you want to black out your all but the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, do so. We do need the last 4, but the others, you feel free to do that. But we will tell you if you come in our office instantly whether you qualify. So you'll get the good news or maybe next year news. I'm not going to say bad. Maybe next year news right away, okay? If you put it in our Dropbox, of course, we'll process it and then we'll send you a letter telling you your position. But make sure you bring those. If you do not file income tax returns and you only collect Social Security, bring in that letter, that 1099 that you get from Social Security that outlines your benefit, and we'll look at that as well. And then if you are applying for a disabled veteran exemption, bring in that DD 214 that shows that you're 100% service connected. Okay, I've got to wrap up. But the most important thing I really just want to get everybody out to know is what it is you need to bring in, when you need to come in, and come in with a smile. And your patience. We want to give you everything that you deserve. Trust me, we want to get your benefits. If you may get your school taxes reduced, you may get your school taxes eliminated. You may get your county and city taxes reduced. The last thing I'll say, because I know I'm out of time, is if you live in unincorporated DeKalb County, meaning you do not live in a city, come to our office. If you live in a city, come to our office to apply. If you live in any one of these 4 cities, you're going to have to come to our office to apply and go to your city to apply. If you live in city of Decatur, Doraville, Stone Mountain, or Chamblee. If you live in any of those 4 cities, you have 2 stops to make. Please go to both, because your county, the state, and the city all offer exemptions, and you want to be able to take advantage of all of them. You do not, once you get the best exemption, you never have to apply again. It occurs, or you get it every single year. If you get an exemption but not the best one, you can keep applying until you get it. What I like to tell people is some people may not qualify for a senior exemption, but usually by 70, you will, because the income requirement goes way up. So if you haven't gotten it yet, please come and see us. Even if you have the best one, you come in and apply. We will smile, give you a hug, and say, you don't have to come back, but if you want to, we're here. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. If you all need anything, my number is 404-298-3020. Please call. We will answer all of your questions. We will help you. We have a table outside. We're providing information. Please get a brochure. So if you forget anything I said or want more information, you can do that. We have that for you at our table outside. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Golden. And before we go on to the next presenter, we purposely wanted to hear from the tax commissioner early in the year before the April 1st deadline, so you guys can hear all this information and be informed before the deadline. So thank you. It was amazing. Next, we have Mr. Andre Thomas, Director of Urban League Greater Atlanta. He's here to talk about DeKalb County Office of Water and Sewer Advocacy. Good morning.
Good morning, family. How are you? That's good. That's awesome. So similar to Commissioner Johnson, I've been on this job for almost 2 weeks now, and they threw me out here to you all to talk about this program. So I may do a little reading, a little bouncing around. So as I don't want to miss anything, and I want to make sure I share everything with you all. Who's all familiar with the WRAP program, the Water Rate Assistance Program? You heard about it? Okay, awesome. All right, so we will dive into it. To hit the green button to move this? Okay, good deal. So this is DeKalb County Office of Water and Sewer Customer Advocacy. I am the new director. Again, I've been there all of 2 weeks, so I'm excited about it. All right, so let's move along here. All right, so how do we get started? So the DeKalb County Water and Sewer Advocacy was authorized by Resolution 2024-1357. to begin work on January 2nd, 2026. I am a part of Greater League Urban Atlanta. We partner here with DeKalb County to be a neutral third party customer advocate. And so we administer water rate assistant income driven program, which we call the RAP program. And then we also deal with any escalated disputes. So if you, let's just give an example, having some issues with your water bill and you have some concerns, your first stop, of course, is DeKalb County Water. And then if you want another set of eyes to kind of support or hear your concern, you also can come to us and we will try to advocate on your behalf to see what's kind of going on. And so that's a little bit of also what we do as well. So again, we're also collaborating with DeKalb County for a debt forgiveness and reduction program for past due bills. We don't handle the past due bills, but we are working with DeKalb County to see what we can put in place to support our residents here. Okay, so where are we located? So we're Monday through Friday, so we're 8:30 to 5. Our intake process is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we're at, you all know where this is? Okay, so yes, it's the old, some of y'all been here quite some time now. I know, what building used to be? It used to be something else, guys. Come on. I give $100 who can get it right. All right, she got it right. It's an old Circuit City building. I guess I owe you $100 back there. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. All right, so our website is decabwaterassistance.org. Our phone number is 404, and please take a picture of this as well. Our number is 404-371-6261, and our email is decabwaterassistance@ulgatl.org. I'll leave this up there. Everybody was able to get a picture of that? Okay, good deal. All right, so what is the Water Rate Assistance Program? All right, so DeKalb County increased water rates by 10%, as you all know, on August 15, 2025, and another 10% on January 1st of 2026, and will increase rates in January for the next 9 years, right? And so our job is to assist. Is this new news to anybody? Oh, okay. I was just making sure. I was making sure I was in the right place. So, all right. So our job is to assist vulnerable households who are facing financial hardship to be able to afford water and sewer services. So we seek to promote fair and equitable collection of these practices. We provide our programs and services are here to support household and overall well-being. So how do you apply for the RAP? All right. So applicant must be a DeKalb County resident. That's very important. You must be an account holder. So of course you must have an account, water account with the county. So we go by the HUD. So for the most part, if a customer household income is higher than the HUD income limit, the customer will not be eligible to participate in the program. So if you are one person in the house, your income should be $48,000. Two persons, $54,840. 361.80, 468.20. Some of the documents that we accept, and so of course we, ID, your pay stubs. We could take your W-2s. We'll review that as well. If you don't have any income, we will inquire about your income. We will ask, how do you receive income? We also take any child support paperwork that you may have. And of course, we are looking to make sure that, not required, but we want to make sure the name on the ID match your water account as well, because we want to make sure you live at that address. However, we do know people transition and move, and so, but just come in our office and talk to us about it, and we can see where we can support you at. So these are the documents that we accept when you do come in. Okay, so who's eligible for the program? Upon qualification for the program, an affordable threshold is calculated, constituting 4.5% of the applicant's total gross household income. If the customer's current water and sewer bill is already below the 4.5% of the household income, the customer will not be eligible to participate in the program. Do you all know what the 4.5% is? Okay, so the 4.5% is a cap designed to be lower than the federal and international affordability guidelines, ensuring that residents do not have to choose between one, paying their water and other essential needs. So this is a policy driven through DeKalb County and Urban League of Atlanta. Okay. Let's see what else we have. DeKalb County uses a monthly consumption limit of 1,500 gallons per household. If your bill is higher than the allotted amount of 1,500 gallons per person, an advocate will contact you. Approved residents receive a monthly credit for 12 months and are required to recertify annually. If deemed ineligible, residents who fall in the RAP guidelines are welcome to reapply to the program if circumstances may change. So say if you are you just took custody of your kids, right? So your income or your circumstances may change. So you are more than welcome to reapply for the program. In every case, it's case by case. And so we're always looking to sit down and go through whatever information that you provide with us. All right. So ways to apply. We have several ways to apply. One, you can complete this online. Again, our website is decabwaterassist.org. You can also, which is request for us to mail you the application. We send with the return postage. You put it back in and you send it back to us. If you would like to come in and see me and the team, you're more than welcome to come in. The address again is 4572 Memorial Drive. You can come in person with those documents. We will help you process that. We will help you enter that into the system, and then we will let you know next steps. And then again, you're more than welcome to also mail it in as well. Okay. Okay, water disputes. So again, our office do not handle disputes directly. That is through DeKalb County Water. But what we will do is, and typically we're all in the same building, so we work hand in hand. So if you do have a dispute or if you have an issue with your water, DeKalb will provide us some additional information. We also do have access to their system in Questa, so we're able to go into and see, learn a little bit about some of the issues that you all are having to see how we can support you as well. So, and again, DeKalb is DeKalb Assurance Unit or their customer service department. And here's their information right here. Their number is 404-378-4475. There's also a dispute request form. If you scan the QR code, that'll take you to our application there as well. And then that way you can enter that information as well. So I did add some community resources prior to me getting in this seat. In my previous life, I was a school social worker for many years in Atlanta Public Schools. So I do believe in also providing additional support where it's needed. So I have a couple other things up here for you, such as the DeKalb Cares, which is a plumbing repair program. They assist income eligible DeKalb residents households with no cost plumbing repairs. So here's their information, their flyer. I can also send it out to you all as well. I'll get your email, or you can get my email, and then I can send this additional information out to you. This is another awesome program. If you are, this is here at St. Vincent Paul. They provide a host of things for a lot of residents. And I'm sorry if the slide's a little small. Again, I can share this out with you all as well. Partnership for Community Action. They provide family support, utility assistance. So that's another great resource as well. You can take a picture of this is PCAaction.org. Okay. So again, here's our contact information. The website is DeKalbWaterSystems.org. Our email is here as well. Even though we are serving DeKalb County residents, Urban League has several different pillars and different programs that we support with. So it just doesn't stop here. We do quite a lot in Urban League Atlanta. And so this is our information here. And I think that's it for me. So thank you.
He did an amazing job, and we will have opportunity for Q&A at the end. You can ask lots of questions from everybody. I also wanted to touch on a piece of legislation that our office had introduced. Last year, the Board of Commissioners and the CEO had a legislative agenda created where we had 10 items that we're pushing in our state legislature. And the item that I presented was actually to get help for our rental residents who may be having an issue with a water leak that needs repair, but the property owner is not making the repair. When we, as Commissioner Golden mentioned, early last year, we were making our rounds with all the different departments, and when we met with the water utility department, we found that that was one of the biggest issues is renters don't have the authority to fix the leak, and sometimes the landlords are not doing what they need to do to actually fix the leak. So we have some draft legislation that's getting some traction at the state capitol right now to try and help address that. So we're hopeful that we'll get some leverage in that, and DeKalb County will have a way to actually force those property owners to fix the leak and take that burden off of the ratepayer who might be a renter, because even if they go through these programs, we can't reduce that cost indefinitely. The leak still needs to get fixed. The water still needs to stop being wasted. So we're really excited about that opportunity. Up next, we have Carolina Ramos from MARTA, a Government and Community Affairs Manager, Department of External Affairs, as well as, is Andrew speaking as well, or just Carolina? Just Carolina. So if Carolina can come forward, she's outside. They also have a table out front if you guys would like to stop by their table and get more information. We also have tables from code compliance, public education, as well as Georgia Power. Good morning, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, for allowing us to be here this morning. And good morning to everyone. So, as you all may know, MARTA is experiencing a lot of changes coming in April. And so I'll be here to talk real briefly about them, because I could talk for probably an hour about everything going on. But feel free to come to our table and ask us any questions. We're happy to dive deep with you. We can go to the next slide. So, April 18th, your route will be changing. Depending where you live, there will be certain routes that will be more frequent. There will be some stops that are eliminated. If you are a frequent rider, those stops that will be eliminated, there are placards all over our system letting folks know, hey, this stop is not going to be here, or click on the QR code. Your route may change numbers, but it may be frequent. Now, why are we doing this? A lot of people have been asking that question. So MARTA has not revisited our routes in 40 years. So this is the first extensive route changes, bus network redesign in our history. Now, many people forgot because COVID, but we have, over the last few years, gone and done a lot of public engagement. Is this going to be perfect? No. But we are happy to take any concerns. We would love for you guys to contact customer service. And as complaints come in, or concerns, or maybe we need to add a stop somewhere, maybe we need to shift the route, we have the flexibility to do that moving forward. So please, 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 I know some folks have already voiced your concerns with me. I cannot remember everything, I wish, but please contact customer service, and I'm happy to give you the number. But it will be consistent service 7 days a week. And in this district, some frequent service, Covington Highway, Lawrence Ville Highway to Emory Decatur Hospital, Lula Hills, and more connection outside the district, Stone Mountain Village, Gwinnett County, and Doraville Station. Now, we are getting a new fare payment system. So finally, we are in 2026, and you will be able to pay with your phone. Or if you have a debit card or a credit card that has a chip, you can also use that. For some of our seniors, if you have reduced fare, we will be sending you a new card in the mail, but if you do not receive it by the end of April, please contact customer service. Now, if you have any fare, please, on a card, please try to use it as much as possible. If you cannot, register your card, and beginning in May, you can transfer that balance onto the new card. Yes, we're very, very excited. And you will see at stations right now that since we're doing construction, people can just enter for free. So there are some concerns about that. We did take that into account, but more than likely when they leave the station or they transfer, that's how we collect the fare. So if you are experiencing any issues entering the station, please also let us know. I can't remember what the next slide is. Oh, that's it. However, I will give you guys my email. I'm Government and Community Affairs, so if there's any concerns, customer service isn't responding to you, you really want to get more information on something, my email is cramos, R-A-M-O-S, @itsmarta.com. Perfect. Well, that is all I have, and please feel free to come to the table. We have some swag, and if you're enthusiastic, we might have a free card for you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. Alicia is here to, we're getting our next one? Yeah. Okay. Georgia Power. What's this? Yes. Good morning. We have Kenneth Richardson with Customer Engagement from Georgia Power. Come up to the hot spot. There you go.
All right, thank you. All right, good morning. It's good to see everybody. I'm sorry, about to knock you over. All right, once again, good morning. Once again, I'm Kenny Richardson. I'm the Customer Engagement Specialist for the North DeKalb area. And I'm also, All right, I'm also joined, and I'll let Tonya introduce herself.
Yes, hi, I'm Tonya Sturgis, Customer Engagement Specialist for Georgia Power, and I actually handle the South DeKalb area. My office is in Tucker, Georgia, and I work South DeKalb, and Kenny here works North DeKalb. We're just here to tell you a little bit about some of the programs that we offer. If you're not aware of them, and income qualified discount is one of them, and Kenny will just give you a brief information about that, but we also have some collateral to give you on the way out too.
Thank you. Absolutely. And the income qualified discount was previously known as the senior citizen discount, where in order to be eligible, you had to be 65 years of age or older. But in order to meet the needs of our customer and to really be aligned with the community, we adjusted it to where you can now qualify for the discount if you receive supplemental security income, Social Security disability insurance, and also if you receive the Housing Choice voucher. So if you meet any one of those 4 requirements, then you'll receive a discount of $33.50 on your bill each month, which can equal to $402 a year, which I think could be used for just about anybody. Absolutely. So we have flyers on our table as well to get more information if you like, and definitely come by and see us. And also what's also important is once you get this discount to make sure you're enrolled in the right rate that will save you money on your bill. And I'm going to pass the mic to Tonya to talk more about that.
Yes. So some of you may be aware that we have a particular program that's called Flat Bill. And Flat Bill basically is like no surprises. You know what your bill is going to be every month. It's a flat rate plus tax, and it's for 12 months. So you stay on that plan. At the end of 12 months, we offer you a renewal rate. You like the rate, you don't have to do anything. It starts over for you again. And if you decide to cancel it at that time, you don't owe Georgia Power anything. It just breaks even and it starts over again. So there's not a balance to settle at the end of the 12 months. And the great thing about it is that whatever your rate is, if you're on the income qualified discount, that $33.50 comes off of that rate. So that helps you. We also have a particular plan that's called Ease. And it's something where you can get up to $5,000 of energy efficiency improvements for your home. It's something that's a little bit of a long process, but if you meet certain income requirements, we come in and we do things like duct sealing, give you smart thermostats. We basically do, insulation? We'll put insulation in. So just a lot of different programs we have to find and do things that we can help, because we understand, especially during the summer high bill season, customers are impacted. And one of the things that impacts your bills is your energy efficiency of your home. So that's called the EASE program. We have information for you on that. And then one other thing for you or anyone that you may know in your family, we have something called a customer assistance resource locator. So for customers, we have partnered with over 400 community organizations, faith-based organizations, nonprofit organizations. And basically what you can do, you go to this tool on our website, you put in your zip code, and you can get assistance for mortgage, rent, utilities, food, counseling services, and more. You put in what you need, you put in your zip code, and the resources that are in your community available to assist you will come up. So that's something that we also offer our customers on our website. So any additional questions that you may have, we're right out there, and we'll be happy to speak to you about it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Ooh, let me get away from the microphone. Thank you so much. I am actually on that flat rate as well, so that's a good program to be on. Before we move into the department questions, I did see a couple candidates in the room. One may have left. If you're a candidate for office, please raise your hand. I'll give you an opportunity just to say your name. Oh. We'll get you a mic. Hold on one second. We got people online watching too. Are you? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard Wright, and I am running for Lieutenant Governor of Georgia. Thank you. Thank you very much. And before I get into all my brilliance, I want everyone to repeat after me. Say, I am important. My views matter. Everyone in this room is important. And if no one's told you that today, let me be the first person to tell you. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right.
So we are keeping it to like 1 minute.
Yeah. So, just I know. You know, it's when you get politicians a mic.
Right. That's why I'm.
Right. So, running for lieutenant governor, I'm running off affordability, civility, and visionary leadership. And you can't go wrong when you choose right. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have candidate in the back corner, if you want.
Yep, if you can just say your name and what office you're running from.
Yeah. My name is Kate Denny. My name is Kate Denny. I am a candidate for State Senate District 10. This is Toco Hills down to Stockbridge, out to Stonecrest. Emmanuel Jones holds the seat now. He's vacating, so it's an open seat. I am compassionate. I'm principled. I'm unafraid. Like you, I've been paying very close attention to what's happening, and our state is not adequately fighting back against basically the evil stuff coming down, right, from the federal government. But I also want to help increase our wages. You probably know the Georgia wage is $5.15, which is like abysmal. Childcare in Georgia costs more than college tuition. 20% of our houses are corporate owned. We don't have any legislation regulating around that. So these are things that I will tackle. I am not afraid. I'm a trauma ICU nurse. I have 3 kids in public elementary school, and we're going to get this done.
Thank you.
All right. Name and the office that you are running for.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tommy Travis, advocate for the community. I'm running for the office of DeKalb County Commissioner in District 3. So if you live anywhere in Candler Park, all the way down on the eastern side of DeKalb County, all the way, western side of DeKalb County, all the way down to the Henry County and Clayton County border, that is District 3. I'm running on a platform of communications, collaboration, and consistency. So if you're looking for a change and looking for steady leadership, vote for me, Tommy T, for District 3. And you can also find me on my website at tt4d3.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to make sure, I don't think I saw any. Are there any other elected officials in the room? Okay. All right. So now we'll pass it on to our department heads.
Yep. So we're going to go into Q&A, and Q&A lasts about 30 minutes. We did start a little late this morning, so we're going to see how it goes, but we need to hit that 11 o'clock hour and wrap it up because folks got to be other places. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to hold the mic. I'm going to hold the mic. I'm not going to turn the mic over. There's a rhyme and reason for why we do it that way, and some of y'all know why. So we're going to get started. We'll just ask our representatives from our departments just to say a couple of words, and then we're going to go straight into Q&A. All right. Major, you ready? It's on.
Thankfully, I don't have to give a long speech like these wonderful people did. So I'm Major Harden, Tucker Precinct Commander. I service all of Tucker Precinct, which is all-inclusive of most of the folks in this room. So happy to be here. I'll keep it short because I know we're way short on time. We'll move it on. Do you want me to say anything else? Are you good? Good.
Thank you, Major. Nicole Golden, Tax Commissioner.
Is it working? All right. So I'm Andre Thomas. I am the new director for DeKalb Water and Sewer Advocacy Department by way of Urban League Atlanta.
Good morning. I'm the Human Services Director for DeKalb County, and I want to say thank you to Commissioner and Presiding Officer Chakira Johnson and the District 4 team with Alicia and Carrie. And I'll talk about a little bit of the services that we have when the questions come up. Thank you.
Ready? Ready, start, go.
Yeah, I do need Alicia to hold the mic because I have a lot of things I want to say, but I want to get to the point. As far as MARTA is concerned, my major concern is that we are paying 1 cent sales tax to 2057 for MARTA. Okay, we're not getting much of anything. Now, Gwinnett County and the other outside counties are paying zero, and buses are coming in to this county, and they're not picking no one up in DeKalb County and not dropping nobody off in DeKalb County. The only thing they're doing is coming from their county with their people and dropping them off at the train station, damaging our infrastructure, receiving services from us, and not paying a thing. So I'm going to try to find out what is MARTA doing about this scenario.
Yes, this was not addressed, but what can be done about the lines on the streets for DeKalb County? We have aging eyes, and it's very difficult to see those lines on the streets.
Restriping. Right.
I would just like to piggyback on the MARTA complaint and why Indian Creek doesn't have an escalator.
Okay. So I'll touch MARTA real quick. We are actively having conversations with them. They are working to get a 16th amendment to our contract. That is before legislative right now. I had a meeting with them on Wednesday. So we're actively trying to make sure that we are getting the services in DeKalb County that we are paying for and have been paying for. So that is an active conversation. We're also working on the TOD improvements, as well as the station improvements at Kensington, as well as Indian Creek, but we'll bring forward. I didn't know about the escalator, so I'll bring that forward. As far as the striping, we did actually get a striping machine last year because we didn't have one, and we were having a really hard time even getting contractors on board to do the striping, which is why we are so far behind. So we are trying to catch up with the striping. But we as a Board of Commissioners and the departments are aware that it is a problem, which is why we actually purchased a striping machine last year. Mr. Edwards. Not right now.
Good morning. I actually have 3 questions. The first one would be to Ms. Golden. You talked about the homestead exemption. I just want to seek clarity on one thing. If a house has two names on it and one person turns 62 first, do you have to wait for the other person to turn 62 to get the, all the benefits? And then my question to the gentleman who was with the water bill, you talked about how it's going up over the next 9 years, but I didn't hear from you how much it's going up over the next 9 years.
10%.
Okay, so I know it's been 10% in the past, but I didn't know
It's 10%. It's a 10 by 10, 10% every year.
Okay, every year. All right, and to our commissioner, and I know I came in late, so I don't know if you've already addressed it. I heard a lot of good things happening in District 4, but I'm very concerned about Brandon Hill, and I want to know what's the plan to deal with Brandon Hill. So those are my questions.
I'll answer the Brandon Hill one. There's not a lot I can say publicly. There are conversations happening, but when we're talking about people's personal property, we can't really make a lot of that public. But please know that there is conversations happening between myself and Madam CEO. Brandon Hill is top of mind. But it is a sensitive issue that we can't really publicly talk about yet.
And to answer your question, only one person in the House has to be 62 to be able to apply for a senior exemption. I will say, though, when it comes to household income, because I said senior exemptions are based on age and income. That's why we asked to bring you to bring your returns in. We do take into consideration the entire household's income. So if you have someone that's, maybe an adult child or someone living with you that works, we have to take into consideration their income as well. But to qualify for a senior exemption, only one person in the house on the deed has to be 62.
My question is for Kenneth Richardson with Georgia Power. Back in November, I did qualify for the EASE program, and it came out and they assessed my home. What is the turnaround process? Because now it's February going into March. They did the assessment, but they have not come out and done the work.
Yeah, he went back outside, but there is a Georgia Power table, so very specific to your question. Because you completed an application, you're probably better off stopping at the table, because he's not going to have that level of detail to be able to say what's going on with your application. Okay. All right?
My question is, nobody has mentioned it. It's up among other services, and it has to do with senior centers. I attend the Lou Walker Senior Center, and we are vastly overpopulated, and it really needs revitalization. And I want to know, it doesn't seem to be such equity amongst the different senior centers. Like this one, you have to pay $100-some annually. The one I attend, you can use your silver sneakers. I want to know, why isn't it that all of them allow for silver sneakers? I think that's important.
Thank you for that question. I'm going to tell you a little bit and give you a broad level overview. One of the things that is happening is that silver sneakers is also tied to some of the changes in Washington, and that has impacted the reimbursements that's allowable underneath your healthcare and Medicare plans as it relates to silver sneakers. So silver sneakers is technically really not even an option anymore. So that's something you need to keep in mind when it comes time for the next wave of voting and other things that you have to raise your voice as it relates to senior benefits. The other thing is that not all of the senior centers are the same. The Lou Walker Center is technically called the Multi-Purpose Center, and the other centers like South DeKalb and North DeKalb and DeKalb Atlanta, those are neighborhood senior centers that are tied and have different requirements in order to be a member at that center. And so that's why it's different in terms of what the cost is to be at that center and the fees that are associated. And so they're different based on the neighborhood location and how that center was designed to serve a certain population of the seniors. So that's why it's a little bit different, and it's not the same across the board like the YMCAs or LA Fitness or anything like that. The different senior centers are attached to the different neighborhoods and were built for a specific purpose. And so this is one of the newer ones, and I want to say thank you to the team here. If you raise your hand, including that it's in partnership with Parks and Recreation. I toured this land when it was just vacant, and to see what it is today with the team and the excellent work that they do here and every day. But let me just go back to something that you said. Please keep that silver sneakers thing in mind. It's a conversation that we're also having internally within the Human Services Department to see how we can work with the administration to make sure that if there's a financial hardship or if there's a particular situation, that the county is able to subsidize or look at ways to make sure that seniors have access, and that also that waiting lists don't continue to grow, because there's not enough senior centers across the county. And there's only so much space that the senior centers have, and there's only so many number of hours a day that the programming can take place. So there's a constraint there, and there's also a need there, and there's a demand. So one of the solutions, hopefully, will be another type of feasibility study or something like that that will happen, that will look at other pockets of the county where new senior centers could possibly go, and to that, and ease some of the programmatic challenges that exist now because of capacity and because of the number of seniors by code and the fire department and others that can be inside of the senior center at one time. So that's, hopefully I answered your question.
We're living longer, and so with that, we have a growing population. Also, I just want to underscore that this center here is one of a kind in DeKalb County. It technically is not a senior center. It's a community center that provides services for children, youth, and everybody in between, and seniors. So if that helps. All right.
Okay, I'm Debbie Gaffman from Clarkston, and I want to ask, and I don't know who to ask about this, if the youth violence budget is $350,000, and every weekend we listen to the news and 4 more teenagers are shot every weekend, or they shoot at each other, or they get shot by somebody else, it's scaring the heck out of me, and I'm wondering what the $350,000 is going to do about youth violence. I find that puzzling because it's a vague thing. What is it that they're going to do?
So that isn't the total budget. That was an additional budget to go towards youth violence that we were allotted as commissioners. But I'll also let Damon Scott from Human Services and maybe the police department touch on that. But that item on the slide was an additional amount that we went towards targeted programs.
From District 4.
From District 4.
Just from District 4. But the overall budget is much larger than that for youth services.
I just want to know what it's being spent on.
Our District 4 allocation. So the list was there, went to the sheriff's office. So there were a number of funding allocations to different youth services that.
I just wanted to tell us what they are because we don't know.
It was on the list that was up there, but we could.
No, I saw the list, but it didn't specify what youth violence programs there are. I'd like to know.
Right. So I think she's asking more general because we gave the list of where our money went from District 4, but Director Scott can probably touch on a couple more because that's in his department.
Yes. Thank you for that. That's not a whole $350,000 specific to District 4, unfortunately. But one of the things underneath the community violence umbrella, DeKalb County, we were the only county in the Southeast to receive a community violence intervention grant from the Department of Justice. And within that grant, it is working with Georgia State University, the DeKalb County Police, the sheriff, other law enforcement entities, and community partners, including Grady Hospital, Emory Hospital, and the like. And that information, it takes time, right? It's organic and it takes time. The net result of what will happen underneath that particular project is that a community map is going to be developed that shows from the data that's being provided from all of the entities of the hot spots of what's happening in certain pockets of DeKalb County, so that eventually wraparound resources or direct solutions can go, and the DeKalb County schools is part of that solution, to wraparound services where the areas are hottest in terms of the level of incidents that are impacting our youth. One of the things and many of the things that are happening in terms of youth programming, and specific to District 4, is not going to cure all violence, and we know that. But They are violence interrupters, meaning that there are a lot of other incidents and a lot of other situations that could, where those numbers can be even greater. But there's a lot happening programmatically that you probably are not aware of and probably don't see that can, where more can happen to protect our youth, such that Commissioner Chakira Johnson has invested in a Girls Clubhouse Rise Up program in combination with Emory University this year, and we did it with Morehouse College. That it has several cohorts of keeping youth off the street and keeping them involved in terms of leadership and academic enrichment and risk management skills. Another thing is the Youth Commission. There's been an investment in the Youth Commission for their civic engagement and activity where youth across all District 4 and all DeKalb County are now engaged in civic programs and are getting exposure to what it is to be a civic leader and become a next level of engagement that way. There's also a youth voucher program where money is underneath that umbrella is given to families so kids can attend summer camp, and that keeps them off the street. And then there's midnight basketball programs where there are hundreds of kids that are participating in midnight basketball with the police athletic league where they're not engaged in violence, and they are also off the streets and things during that time. So while there are, and we acknowledge that there are incidents of violence and with some of those kids that unfortunately are making bad decisions, there's also a lot happening on the ground to keep more youth safe and involved in DeKalb County programs that are free of charge, and in some cases transportation is provided to these programs to make sure that the schools are involved, violence interrupters are involved, mental health counselors are involved, other community partners are involved, nonprofit organizations are involved to provide that extra level of safety and investment towards their youth. So while it's $350,000, it probably needs to be $3 million. And in all honesty, because as we know, the family households have changed, needs have changed, and schools can only do so much. So communities are managing between the time kids are coming out of school to the time they go back to school in some cases. And then you got that 18 to 24-year-old population that may not be in school, right? And if a job is not available, if they don't have skills that are available, and then there's other things that are happening in the community that's contributing to some of those decisions, that safety net and those resources need to be expanded. And so there needs to be a continual investment in that. But DeKalb County has made those investments, and Commissioner and Presiding Officer Chakira Johnson has supported those efforts, and it all helps. And Parks and Recreation, they're a big partner in this as well. So I want to say thank you to everybody in that space, but, you know, it's still an issue. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not an issue. It's still an issue, but there's still things that need to be done, and we all play a hand because we see it, we know about it, and we hear about it, right? And we're working with over 250 partners as well, because whenever there's a crisis situation or when an incident of violence does happen or a youth does commit a crime, you still have to work with the caretakers, the adults in the household that are involved, and the victims that are involved. Right? So it's not just the person that's committing an act, it's also who's impacting. And so that requires money too, and that requires resources. So it's a comprehensive way that we're looking at it, but I'm really excited about the map that's going to take place and is going to be developed, because that's going to help inform law enforcement and others about where the resources are, where the need is, and where the types of interventions that can take place to keep more of our youth in our community safe. Thank you, Director Scott. And I do want to give Major Hart an opportunity to talk about the PALS Plus program. But to your question, also, Commissioner Johnson just recently recognized National Mentoring Month. And as Director Scott just mentioned, there are hundreds of organizations that the county partners with to work with youth. She could not recognize the hundreds of organizations. So from our sheriff's office to the police department to fire and rescue to some of the nonprofits, they were recognized a couple of weeks ago at a Board of Commissioners meeting for that purpose, to get the word out that DeKalb County does understand that the youth need to be involved in something positive, and the county has put resources to those efforts. And as Director Scott said, we always need more money, right? But you can't throw money at all problems. You got to have some strategic programming that goes with it. And then one last thing I do want to say is recently there was the opening of a Teen Tech Center at Hamilton Recreation Center.
And if you haven't been to Hamilton Recreation Center, it's a recreational program with all types of programs for youth. And that Teen Tech Center is awesome. Please go check it out. Give them some support. Just let them know that you care, but it's in Clarkston at the Hamilton Rec Center. Major.
So you did a wonderful job of basically handling all the questions that I would have had to have handled. So please, Director Scott, if you have my next meeting, if you'd love to be at, I'd be happy to have you there. And Alicia is the same. You know, PAL Plus is an amazing group. It's Police Athletic League Plus, and the plus is because it isn't just athletics. It's a little bit of everything. We have a growing budget. I remember some years back, the PAL budget was a joke, right? We barely could cover the insurance waivers that we need. In some years, we had to get a donor just to cover that. We didn't have enough money really to do anything, so we relied a lot on the county's budget, the police department's budget, to make sure that the youth are able to engage in different activities. Because at the end of the day, nobody at this table and nobody in this room in a singularity can solve this problem, right? Violence is a community problem. You can't stop certain types of violence, let's be honest, right? If someone has a domestic problem inside someone's home, you cannot affect the emotion that exists in people. However, we can try to curb bad behavior. So our Police Athletic League has done a whole bunch. We've appreciated the awards. The Juvenile Justice Council awarded our PAL unit as well for the outstanding works they do. And he mentioned the midnight basketball. That's one event that is huge. We get so many kids. We have the swim program because, unfortunately, drownings in DeKalb County was kind of in the news a little bit. And let's face it, the news just talks about what sells ratings. But there have been, one kid that drowns is too many. And we found out that more people don't know how to swim than do know how to swim, which was kind of surprising to me. I grew up on a coast, though, so you had to swim where you sank. And there's, we have etiquette programs that we do for our young ladies because the idea here is grow up with some self-worth, right? Yep. Feel that you are valued yourself. I know an individual said that you are important. You need to know that you are important, and you need to be able to exhibit that. And we're not talking about overconfidence, and I know I have that sometimes. But overconfidence is not necessarily a bad thing. Underconfidence is. If you don't believe you are important for who you are, then you're not going to seek that person that should value you, and you're not going to value yourself and what you do. Same thing with property. If you don't appreciate your car, you're not going to wash it. And if you don't wash it, it's going to start looking like crap, and its value is going to go down. And another big piece that we are looking at now that's coming up with FIFA on its way. Huge, probably one of the biggest events that the state of Georgia will have ever seen for sporting. It is, I cannot underscore how massive FIFA is. It is bigger than any Super Bowl. It is bigger than any, World Series group. It is enormous. So PAL is going to look at doing, it's not going to be midnight, but a soccer program along the same lines as basketball because DeKalb County is extremely diverse and football, let's call it what it is, soccer, is the largest sport in the world. And we have a huge community in DeKalb County, a lot in the northern side of Tucker specifically, that is Hispanic, that enjoys playing soccer. We've got Silverback Stadium area, which is enormous for a lot of those types of sports. So it is a wraparound service. So no one small amount is what makes the difference. It's the people that are using the money. When we had no money, and I mean none, we were still doing a lot of these programs. My officers are out here. They buy kids' toys around the Christmas time. We use our own money to rent someone an apartment when they need it. Thankfully, we have a great group and a great county and a great community that is expanding those things to where the individual isn't having to necessarily come out of their pocket because, let's face it, we don't have the money either, and neither do you. But seek out what those services are. She mentioned the tech school that's around. There are places like Metalworks that's down in Tucker that just opened up recently. They're a global company as well that offer different types of trades. Not everything is college-based. Sometimes we need somebody that can work on an air conditioning unit. So you have to take into account those pieces. So if you know someone in your family that is in need of those sort of things, just seek it. Google is amazing. It is there. It is everywhere. Call the commission's office. Call the human services. These people, if you know someone that needs that, and on much higher, anybody that's 21 years or older that would like to be a police officer, we are hiring something fierce, and we are paying very well, although we might put you out of a bracket here, so that's okay. But please come and work. If you want to make the change in your community, you want to talk about violence, you want to talk about how to disrupt it, you can have an idea in this room, and that's great. But if you want to be the change or be the difference or make the difference, then you need to get out of the chair and do the job. Right? So thank you what you're doing. For everybody up here that is doing the job and made that call to service, please do that, and that's all I got.
That was a plug, Major, for recruitment for law enforcement. Thank you.
Also, I wanted to mention two other investments that probably that are worth mentioning is that the county is also, and also within our department, we're looking at things that people really may not see, is around cyberbullying. A lot of times kids are now, they're so engaged in social media, and things are happening and incidents are happening based off of social media. So you have to have a response to that. Another thing I wanted to make a mention of, another investment is in food insecurity. There are a lot of youth that are going to school and in households that don't have enough food, and they are food deserts. So the county is also making an investment in food insecurity, addressing food insecurity, and we're looking to some of the net sum of all of that will hopefully, again, impact and lessen some of the challenges that we see that are facing our youth every day. So I want to say thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to come back to the power question. It was around turnaround time.
Yeah, turnaround time for the EASE program that I mentioned.
I'll write it down.
The EASE program, yeah. So honestly, just from what I've heard about what happens within the EASE program, it can be 6 to 8 weeks. It can go up to 2 years. So it can be a long process depending on what needs to be done. So there's an assessment that's done over the home to see what type of improvements are needed. Sometimes it can be something as simple as we're giving you upgraded LED lights or putting in a smart thermostat. But when it comes to the more extensive things with the installation and the duct sealing, then that can take a little bit more time. We have to get the contractors out. And so because we have a lot of people that are actually applying for the program, it can take some time. It's a process. So it's something that's for homeowners and renters too. With renters, they have to get their landlord's approval in order for us to come in and make any changes to the home. The thing is that because it can be a long process, unfortunately, sometimes for renters, they may move, and so it may not benefit them. But for homeowners, you're going to be there for a while. This is your forever home. You may have to have some patience with it because it can take a long time. But I do have the phone number if you all want to take it down to call. So it's 877-310-5607. I'll repeat it. It's 1-877-310-5607. And then the website, if you wanted to go to it, it's just georgiapower.com/ease, EASE. And it's Monday through Friday that you can speak with someone 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right,
thank you.
Go ahead. We are at 10:56, Alicia.
I'm asking again about an issue that we have in my neighborhood, Norman Road neighborhood, where we had a major violation of code, both county, state, and federal, in which a developer illegally drained a lake and caused environmental damage and had a stop work order placed on the property. It's 4096 Norman Road. It's been an ongoing issue. We've been emailing for over a year. The developer was supposed to be facing the commissioners, and consequences were supposed to be issued to the developer for this illegal drainage. And nothing has been said or communicated to the developer, to the neighborhood, as we were told over a year ago. I sent another email to CEO Cochran Johnson on Thursday night, of which you were CC'd on, and we have not yet heard of anything about what happened. The only time any action has occurred was a violation of the stop work order that occurred in May, in which the developer again was illegally on the property, demolishing a building, and that was stopped. And then at the only other time that the county took any action or did any kind of response was when a woman was, I think she may not have survived, was mauled by 3 dogs after we told them that there were people that were squatting on the property and that needed to be addressed. And even today, we went by, the stop work order is removed. The neighborhood association has not been contacted as per agreed upon when the conditions were placed on the rezone that occurred, and we know nothing. So we had thousands and thousands and thousands of water drained out of this lake back on January 10th, illegally, and then into floodplain, which then violated county, state, and federal floodplain code, and we know nothing. No actions were given to us that were put in place to the developer, and this developer is going happily along with his development, but yet all this damage was done. We don't even know what the wildlife impact was because nothing was done, nothing was stated, nothing was addressed. And now we have a developer that's going in there, and again, there's supposedly permits. Everything is being done, but we're not being told.
So I do not have an update on that issue. I've not received one myself. I must have missed your email. I do apologize for that. I did not see that. I do believe this is in our law department, so I'll see if I can get information out of them. But a lot of times when it gets to that point, we are not going to get much information while they're working through the law process. But I will try and get an update for you on that. I do not have further information to provide, unfortunately. We do understand the importance of it, but there's nothing more that I can update. It is with our other departments, and I will get you as much information as I can. I will get you as much information as I can. We have time for the one last question because we do have a hard stop.
Have you guys considered the schools that are closing, the schools that are in DeKalb County that are closing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to be considering using them to house the homeless, revamp them for the homeless? Also, increase the number of programs to teach young, especially minorities, how to swim. Lou Walker Center has no cafeteria. That's the largest senior center in DeKalb County, and we have no cafeteria.
Yes, ma'am. So Lou Walker, that actually, we had comments on that on our meeting this past Thursday. I talked to our COO, Zach Williams. There will be SPLOST money coming forward to fix the kitchen at Lou Walker. So that one's one. The closing of the school, so we're actually going to have a presentation from the school board on SAP, the program, the kind of school assessment program that they've been running. They're going to give the Board of Commissioners an update on Tuesday at our Committee of the Whole meeting. So Board of Education and Board of Commissioners, completely separate entities, but I know fellow commissioners have had conversations amongst ourselves on how can we partner with the school board to repurpose some of those schools. It's kind of really early on. We don't have anything concrete, but we are having those thoughts and conversations as well. If you can tune in on Tuesday and hear about the SAP program, I think that'll be a really timely conversation.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Living. I'm volunteering for one of those $100,000 community service jobs. The free one.
That was the comment. That's a good way to end it. Thank you, everybody. I know there's a lot more questions, but we have a hard stop with DCTV. If our department heads can stay around and answer a few, they will. But thank you again, everyone, for attending our Community Connection Breakfast. Okay, but DCTV can turn off? Okay.
Mine is just a basic question. In our neighborhood, the garbage trucks come by, and once they